Well, the Lorcana restock has officially started. My wife and I were able to get a booster box between the two of us from our local game store that we play at. And since my last video, I've been able to play a lot, and we've been playing at tournaments. We've got some of the promo cards, and we know the card's really good now and what they do, and what's a good card and what's just a mediocre card. So it's really exciting to get some new product. So come with us as we open some packs, and I will show you some of the good finds that we got. And before we started, we had about half a set, and after all these cards, we're about 30 cards away from finishing the set, not including Enchanted. I don't include those because they're just different prints of the same card, basically different background is all, but they cost a lot more money. But luckily, a friend of mine that we play with, he has some of the cards we need, so we're going to do some trading and hopefully get even closer and eventually finish the whole set. And if you do enjoy watching this video, make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So before these boosters from this box, we basically had the starter decks and the boosters that came with them, and it really wasn't that much to go on because you didn't have many options for building a deck. So this is going to make it a lot more exciting, and you'll see a lot more cards when you play other people now, which will be fun because a lot of people are getting these, and hopefully that brings the price down. So a lot of these so far came in the starter decks, but it's pretty fun to see the new ones. So this one's a new one. It's a uncommon. It's not that great. I probably wouldn't use it very much myself. I tend to not use actions very often, except the good ones like Dragonfire. Roar came in the starter. So this is a new one for us. Do it again. Turn a action card from your discard into your hand. Again, I don't know if I'll use that very much. Maximus. There's several of Maximus, but this is a different art, different card. It's a bodyguard, so that's a good new one. That's a super rare. And a foil Jafar. Common. So my wife helped me open these packs, and like you can see there, her nails, that's not my hands, just so you know. Okay, that Elsa is a new one. And the Healing Glow is new. It's a pretty good one. Remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. Lots of wardrobes. We need to try to trade some of those away, but they aren't worth too much. Simba's from the starter decks, but it's really good. When you banish someone, you gain a lore. Tigger. We finally got a Tigger, and he's evasive. That's a pretty good card there. Pascal's evasive. I use Pascal a lot. Poison Apple is a new one, I believe, for us. And so was that last Jafar. And a foil Stitch Rockstar. That's a pretty good one. And I think we ended up getting 3 of those Stitch Rockstars, so hopefully we could maybe trade some of those for some of the bigger cards we need. I will say, if you want to get your spouse or kids into trading card games, Lorcana is a very good one. It's very easy. Watch as I struggle to open up this pack. But my wife was never really interested in Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon a little bit, because she was a little nostalgic from the movies and stuff as a kid, but she didn't have cards like I did. But she loves Disney, so she was all in on this. And I've heard that's been the case with a lot of people. They get their wives into this game. That opens up other games. Okay, this Timon is a new one for us. And when you play him, you can remove a damage from chosen character, so that's pretty good. Cost 1 lore, or 1 ink, I should say. Frying Pan is a new one for us. Already had the shield. Ursula's Cauldron is a new one for us. And this is a really good Hades, so they make an Enchanted of this card. So it's the same exact card, whether it's Enchanted or this one. And the Enchanted one just goes for like 100, $200. I don't know what the market is right now. And that Lady Tremaine was a new one. So if you play Lorcana, let me know in the comments what decks you're running. I've been doing the Amethyst and Amber, and I like the evasive characters. I'm gonna try to fill my deck with as many as I can probably on some of those, because that makes it a lot more challenging for people to take out your characters, and it seemed pretty effective to me. But a lot of the time, cards do matter, but occasionally there's just luck. Donald Duck, that's a new one for us. That Donald is. I think that Goofy was a new one for us, and that's a common. Hakuna Matata, lots of those. Magic Broom, lots of those. They keep in the starter decks. Stampedes are good for taking out Mufasa if he's damaged. Another Kristoff. That's our first Anna. Which, I don't know about you, but at our game stores, if you get 3 characters out, a villain, and 2 other characters from the same movie, then you get bonus points in the tournaments. And Chief Tui, forgive my pronunciation, but that's a new one for us as well. Part of your world already. Another one of those Maximuses, but that's a pretty good one. And a Foil Beast Legendary. Now this card is very good. That's like a $25 card. I think we spent around $150 on our cards, so that's pretty good for one card to be worth that much, especially for not being an Enchanted. But that's like the next best thing. And I think some people have said foil legendaries are even more uncommon than the Enchanteds. The price doesn't reflect that, but one can hope. Freeze, I think that's our first one of those. Vicious Betrayal, that's a good one for killing Mufasa too. Sven, he's a pretty tough one, but he came in the starters. Mother Knows Best, I use that a lot. It's pretty effective. Crazy Old Maurice, already had that. Dr. Facilier, the big one, that's a good one. And Control Your Temper foil. And you get a ton of the commons and uncommons. That's just the way it goes in all card games. You don't get a lot of the super good ones. But so far, we've been pretty lucky. So speaking of how sometimes games are just luck, I played this guy, he had like 4 of the Cuscos, which are super good, super effective in gameplay, and he totally decimated me. Well, he played my friend's wife, that she had a pretty basic deck, and she kicked his butt. So I don't know how that happened. It just does. Sebastian was a new one for us. Tinkerbell was also a new one. And you'll see lots of the same character and different artwork on different cards, different abilities, and different vitals, I guess. And some of them are pretty cool, like this Lilo. She costs 1 ink, but she can quest for 2 lore, so she's really sought out after. So after getting into Lorcana, my wife is probably more keen to get into other games, so we're thinking about trying out One Piece. Let me know if you've tried One Piece and if it's any good, and if there's a pretty good community for it, because Lorcana has been pretty popular in my area. The most detrimental thing, though, is lack of product. It's hard for new people to get in because we only got it by chance, really. I went to Walmart early one morning and saw 2 packs and bought both of them. And those are the only ones I've ever seen in the wild since this restock. That Beast Mirror was a new one for us. Kronk is not a new one, but that's a good one. Cut to the Chase. I haven't put that in any of my decks. I know it came in the starters, I believe. And then another Stitch Rockstar. And then foil Mickey Mouse. It's kind of funny. Some lady in a Facebook group posted she pulled one of those from one of her starter decks. I'm like, yeah, it's on the cover of the starter deck box. That's what's in it. And everyone in the comments thought it was pretty funny too. But if you don't put two and two together, you probably don't realize it. And that's okay. People don't know everything. It's okay to learn and make mistakes. So I don't know about your guys' local game stores, but mine was regulating how many pieces of product you could buy, which I think is a good thing. So they limit it to 10 boosters per person. So my wife and I were able to get 20 together. Then a friend of mine, he's really into it. Him and his wife, we play with them at the shop. And I told him about it, and he went to go get some, and he offered and said, hey, we're not going to get our max allotment. Do you want some of ours that we can get? So I paid him for some, and he said his wife kind of was hesitant to actually get rid of him after they took him home because she was worried there was going to be an Enchanted one of those packs, and there ended up not being, so it didn't matter. But it was, you never know. It's gambling. Gambling's fun. That's why it sticks around. And it's kind of funny, when I was a kid, adults weren't really into Pokemon, or I guess some were probably into Magic at the time. But now it seems like trading card games are mainly adults that play them, which is kind of funny. I'm trying to get my daughter into them a little bit more, and she likes them, and so do my nieces and nephews. So that'll be pretty fun as they get older. This Lilo is really good. A lot of firepower and good questing. She can quest for 2 lore. Same with this Moana. This is a good one. This Maleficent's really good. She came in the starters. And then a legendary Gantu. So there's 12 legendaries. And I think I got about half of them after all these boosters. So that's pretty good. Now, if only we could get an Enchanted, that would be great. I think the pricing of the Enchanteds are going to come down a lot as more people open all these boosters in the next upcoming weeks. And I guess that's a good thing if you don't have one and don't plan on selling one. And I've actually seen some, I don't know if they're errors or if they intentionally put them in there, but they're cards that say discard, just a black card with white lettering, and those go for around $100, I believe, if you find one of those in a pack. And I've even seen some enchanted versions of those that have sold for, I think, a couple thousand, which is pretty wild. Usually the best or most sought after enchanted is the Elsa one, and if that's graded high, I've seen it go like around 1200. So the Scepter of Arendelle's a new one. Let me know your favorite character in the game. I kind of lean towards these higher. Oh, another legendary Ursula. I kind of lean towards the higher powered cards, but at the same time, the games usually go by so quick you don't have enough time to really use them more than a round or two, which kind of sucks. I guess it would be kind of fun to play with the rules and go past 20 for a higher number, but that's probably frowned upon by most people. It's kind of funny, as me and my wife were going through these, our daughter was cleaning up the wrappers and put them in a nice organized pile, and then when they're all done, she put them back in the box, and it looked like we had a full box again. So this Reflection is a new one to us. Tamatoa. There's several versions of him. That's the lesser version. Grammatala, it's pretty good because people kill her and she goes back into your inkwell, which is pretty nice, and she's cheap. Then a foil cut to the chase. And I don't know about you, but I think most people put their foils in a binder and don't play with them. And that's my intent, except for that foil Beast Wolfsbane, the legendary one. That's going to be debatable if we'll play with it or not. Freeze is a new one. We have the Scimitar, Captain Hook. And I don't know why, but one of the stores near us, they have always had the deck boxes, like official Lorcana deck boxes. That's a new Captain Hook for us. And that's new Genie. My wife wasn't keeping it in frame, sadly. That's a super rare. But that game store, they've always had official Lorcana deck boxes and sleeves in stock. And I heard the sleeves suck, so we didn't buy any of those. But we got 6 of the deck boxes, so that's pretty nice. We've been able to find those. My wife would really like to find the official binder to put our foils in. And also the mats. The mats would be really good to have because I've played a lot of people and none of them have had official mats. I've seen one person, I believe, with the Trove box that comes with the big storage box. Simba, that's a new one for us. So it'll be good to see more product in everyone's hands and have more diversity in the game, I guess you would say. This is a pretty good Captain Hook. I haven't, in a lot of these, I haven't even seen other people have them. Um, I've known of a couple people around us that have gotten boosters and booster boxes, and even then they stick to the starters a lot for some reason. And that's a new Peter Pan. And I actually, 2 people that go to my store, Mr. Shmee's new. 2 people that go to my store have found Enchanteds, and both of them sold them because, that's a lot of money. It pays for, basically makes your hobby free if you can find one of those and use it to offset the cost of these, which is a good way to do it. Maui is a pretty good one, except he cannot quest. He's only for fighting, which is kind of strange. I think that's the only card in the set that does that, the only character card. So it'll be interesting if you would really use them very much. I think I still would because there's a time and place for that. As we were slowly going through all these cards, getting closer and closer to the end, just kept thinking we should have got more. And luckily, when I saw these were available on Facebook, the store posted them. I was on my lunch break at work and couldn't go, but my wife had a day off and was able to run in and get the cards for us. So that was pretty good timing. She said she was one of the first people there, and I don't know if they're out of stock or not. Hans is a new one. And he can quest for 3, so that's pretty good. And then another legendary, Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. That's a pretty good one. Really sought out. And I find it kind of funny. So some of the Enchanteds are legendary characters, but I don't believe all of them are, which is pretty interesting because they have like some of the best abilities. I think that's why they were chosen to be the enchanted cards. And strangely enough, Lorcana doesn't even include them on their app catalog for some reason. I don't know why. They should. And pretty excited for the new set coming out, Rise of the Floodborn. our store was doing pre-orders on booster boxes for like 120 bucks a booster box, which is a really good price, and limiting it to 5 boosters per customer. And me and my wife debated, do we want to spend the money or not? And we decided we finally did. And we went to go buy them like that night or something, and they were sold out, and we've been kicking ourselves ever since. So don't have regrets. And we got another one of those Lilos, which is pretty awesome. And I think I noticed when I was putting these away that there's a pattern to the order of the colors as they come out. So watch for these. Maybe I'm just tripping, but so we got blue, red, Abu, that's a new one. Conquest for 2. Yeah, so you get an equal amount of colors per booster, it seems like, which is a pretty good way to do it, so you can balance your decks out and not have a bunch of ambers and no sapphires. So that's pretty smart. I guess most trading cards probably do stuff like that, but I haven't noticed. And that genie is another very good one, and that one could be an enchanted one. They made the enchanted card of too. I don't remember for sure. That's a pretty good foil Captain Hook there. And foils, just people like to collect those, not so much play with them, so they tend to be higher value. If you want to resell them, they would go for more money. It's pretty wild. By the time my wife and I went through all these cards, cataloged them, and got them sorted, built new decks, and put the spares in our binder, it probably took us like 4 or 5 hours, which is crazy because I didn't expect that to be the case. But it's a pretty fun thing to do. We're both excited. This Mickey Mouse is a pretty good. That one I know is really good. I guess we mixed up our cards there. My wife's fixing them. I think that's our first Mulan. If you're wanting to get into Lorcana, I highly recommend going to Lorcana's website, and they have a store locator for like official authorized sellers of their product. And hopefully, if you have one in your area, they're pretty fair in their pricing. So if they are, I would definitely support them over big box stores. But if they're not, use your judgment. But our store's been really, really fair on their pricing and really good at hosting events for Lorcana. So I will gladly do business with them as much as I can instead of giving my money to some big corporate chain. And this fishbone quill is really good for adding to your inkwell. Tamatoa, this is the good Tamatoa. He's a big crab one. But he cost 8 ink, so by the time you get him out, the game's probably almost over. Which I guess that's the way it goes, but there's some cards in here that they gain lore when they banish other characters, and those are really good because it's like a double-edged sword. You can attack every time, but you're still advancing your lore count, which is, the goal of the game. And it's funny, sometimes you get so focused on doing one or the other that you forget about the other one. So if you have a character that can do both in the same turn, that's ideal, and that's a good strategy. That Mother Gothel is really good. She keeps other characters from questing if she's exerted, I believe, and that's a huge thing. And she also has a good lore count. So let me know in the comments if you were able to get any of this restock, and if you did, what the best card you got was. Hopefully you guys got some enchanteds, but if not, I want to hear about your legendaries. And anything else you got that you think's interesting? Any misprints? I've seen some where the top got crimped when they were putting it in the foil package. And those any misprints, I think always go for more money. If you want to sell them, if not, just keep them. And if this game sticks around indefinitely, it could be worth a lot of money someday. Um, it might not, but I think it has a pretty good chance of lasting a long time, especially since it's really family friendly. I think sometimes if one person in the family, one of the parents isn't interested, then you might not spend as much money or spend as much time playing. But where me and my wife both are interested, we usually play a couple rounds a night, which is it's a really good activity, really good hobby for spending time together. Gaston, another new one, I believe, for us. And sorry for not reading every card, but it just gets repetitive with all the commons and uncommons. My friend, he got a giant Tinkerbell, which is a very good card. I think it's one of the most sought out after. But I tend to like the low ink required cards with the high lore count. Robin Hood, that's a very good one that we have had until now. But it's a pretty good strategy to just start questing right off the bat as soon as you can and taking others by surprise. There's been a few games though between my wife and I where I've been at like 16 and she's been at 0, and then she wipes out my cards I had out and ends up winning. So you never know. It's just the luck of the draw, and if you build your deck very well, you can definitely do better for sure. And I believe Rise of the Floodborn, the next set they're releasing next month. No, actually, it's this month, the 17th. I believe it has the same number of cards in it. So it's good they're staying consistent. That makes it easy to remember what you need. And the app's pretty good for cataloging, like I said, except for the lack of enchanted cards. And I don't know if anyone knows what the enchanteds are on the next deck and if they're going to have the same number. My guess is they would. I think don't quote me, but I think there's 12. There's 12 legendaries for sure. I don't know about enchanteds. But hopefully someday I get one of those. It would be really exciting. Sad Mother Knows Best card. I love to use it, but what it does is just sends a character to someone's hand. Take that's a good one. That's not the legendary, however. The legendary one is a little bit better. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And there's going to be more, so subscribe and follow along.